All right. I have done what those who said could not be done. I'm using Nomad on an old Android system. I got this thing like 4 years ago and it was cheap. I think it was like $200. It's called the Picasso Art because I thought it was like a drawing tablet, but I think they just said art and I was like, oh, this must be for art. And I did use it for some animating a little bit. Excuse me. But I was very skeptical of going to Nomad on here. I was using like a very old PC, like a gaming laptop, and my computer struggled. It struggled. I got the computer from my little brother because at the time I had an iMac. I thought it was cool. I bought an iMac and I tried using Mesh Mixer on it and I was like, oh, this is not good. I should have done some research. Again, it wasn't. But it's not like I was using the iMac for this at the time. I was doing it for more just like easier stuff like looking cool and making music, like using Ableton. So obviously didn't have like anything I was like really trying to work on it for. And then I started using it for Mesh Mixer. Well, so G2 Box first, and I would mesh stuff in G2 Box to try and just like combine stuff to make something. And it would work out, but not all the time. And then I was like, oh, I should get Mesh Mixer. And I started using Mesh Mixer on there, and it was okay. Slow, but okay. And then I got my brother's old gaming laptop for free, and that was good. Definitely better than the previous option there. And that was good, but lately I think it was having a hard time. And Mesh Mixer I topped out on, it's not exactly like a editing software. It was more just like it is like, it's like there's 3D modeling in it, but it's by no means the best. It's pretty good for like if you already previously have a model, like I purchase a model and then maybe try to like do something with that model or edit files. Like that's what it was for, and it was good for that. But now I'm like trying to get into like more sculpting myself because I have a better idea of what I want now, and I've just my love for this kind of seems to grow. This is the only route it seems to take. So yeah, we are going here now. So I've got Nomad Sculpt. This was again, like I've had this for a couple years. I didn't buy this for this exact reason. I was kind of holding out. I was like, oh, maybe I should wait and get an iPad. And I was like, I'm so bad at like, if I have like a hobby and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to put all my money into this one hobby. And then like I invest so much in it and like get bored with it. Like within like a month of it, I'm just kind of like, oh, I've wasted some money. Like the amount of things I have are just like chilling because I like had the hobby and kind of got over it. Kind of just makes it, and then it's like resale value is hard. So this is something though that I'm becoming like more like I've really put time into this one, so I'm enjoying it, and for the first time actually trying to like figure it out. And so that's where I can like say confidently that like my next steps will be getting an iPad and then hopefully like an actual computer or like a better like PC and like ZBrush maybe. But again, like I'm not trying to do anything crazy here. Like if it does the job, then I don't usually have a problem of what I need to upgrade with. Unless you top out in the actual, like if you're trying to do some crazy stuff and like the software you're using can't actually touch it anymore, like you can't even do much more on the software, I get that. And then you have to kind of upgrade, and I'd like to hope that like that's where I'm going to go next. But so here I am on Nomad with some old tablet. I've just been like just practicing with working on like just building out masking and then building the armor out and just seeing how that works off of like a pre-uploaded body there. As you can see, like there's a lag for sure. And like sometimes it's worse, if I maybe go out like if I click a couple out, the legs, say I'm just working on the knees, and then I'll go here, then that's like a little better. like I still have like a little bit of, it's like definitely like better for what I can work on there. Then the more I kind of go in here, if I add more up, the slower it gets. So I'm not too sure like what the, oops, I'm not too sure. I think I would imagine there was like 4 gigabytes of RAM on this thing. I don't think much more than that. So it's by no means like a powerful tablet. But here it's letting people know that like you definitely still can do stuff on here. It's just you gotta have a little more patience for it. And I know it's hard in a time like this. Like it seems like a lot of people have a hard time with patience, especially just more as like technology is like the stuff we have access to is faster. So like of course if you're doing something that's like slower, then of course you're gonna be like, well, fuck my life. I cannot even do this. But like if you have the patience for it, like don't get me wrong though, like I am when I'm working on this, I get mad too. Like I'm just kind of like, Jesus Christ. And I'll move it and then I'll press this and it won't, and nothing will load, it'll just stay. And then I'll like start like and nothing's going, and I'm just like, and all of a sudden I wait like 2 minutes and it goes bop, 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 bop. And I'm like, wow, pretty frack, you know. And so it's a game too. Like I'm working on it for sure. Like everyone, I think, where you're just kind of like you're just working on that patience for it. Like I'm happy where it's gonna go, you know, and I shouldn't be rushing anything anyways. If it kind of makes me slow down a bit, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, when you want it to be responsive and like to actually like do art on there, that's you do kind of want it to like work with your speed or where you're at. So yeah, I'm just making this video just to like, I'll continue to kind of keep putting videos out and just let people know that like this definitely can be done, because everything I read online, everyone's like, nope, you can't. They're just like, just flat out, you can't. I understand when people are like, oh, you know what, save the money and maybe put it towards like full thin. And I understand that if you're like, oh, can I buy like a just normal iPad or an iPad Air? And people are like, actually, if you just save $300 more, you'll have enough money to buy the iPad Air. If you save $300 more on top of that 300, then you will have enough money to then purchase the iPad Pro. If you save 300 on top of that 300, you will now have enough to buy everything. So I like, and that infuriates me too, because it's just like, okay, if I didn't want to do this right now, and I understand like you can save up for it, but like if I didn't already want to do it and it's like unaffordable, that's such a like bittersweet thing. Like if I'm seeing videos of people doing it, I'm like, oh, I want to get into that. And people are just like, oh, just wait and save up. It's like, okay, if I wait, like I all of a sudden like something else might come up. I may not want to do it anymore. And I guess, you know what, that might actually wean out people who, if it's just a fleeting thing, that might be the case too. But I just don't think that you should maybe try to just write it off. You know, like if it's fun and it's something that you want to do, then yeah, this works. It definitely works. If you have the patience and you're willing to put in some time to figure out how it works, it's worth it. And it definitely does work. Like you don't have to worry about the speed if you're just starting off anyways. Like I'm not doing any crazy intricate stuff. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to top out soon. But yeah, like if you have an Android, you have a Android tablet, it's an older generation, these work. It does work. I can guarantee you're not doing anything crazy if you're just getting into Nomad Sculpt, that like you're going to crash it. Unless you're like, you were like on ZBrush before, and then you've now gone to like, or like Blender or like ZBrush, and now you've gone down to Nomad Sculpt. Yes, if you have an idea of what you're doing, like of course it's going to be like a little hesitant if you already have the knowledge. But I mean, for me on here, like I went from Mesh Mixer right to this, and it was the perfect step, you know, because I was scared to go to Blender, and I was like, there's so much in Blender, and I was like, it's a great software, but I was like, oh my god, like that's too much. Like I feel like I'm going to get so overstimulated to the point where I just don't want to do it. So Nomad's been nice though. There's like a lot of good artists out there on YouTube here who are always posting stuff about their work and kind of what they've done. There's a really good scene for it to like have an idea of what to do. Like when I was using Mesh Mixer, like nobody, there's no videos of Mesh Mixer, only dentists for like the random stuff and like the random uploader. I'm like, what? Like you guys have to figure it out on your own. And I still feel like there's like a lot I have no idea of what that site's actually capable of, but at least with Nomad, there's a lot of people explaining stuff. But again, like I even just saw a comment today of someone saying that there was like not much for Android stuff, and that's completely true. Like I've been searching so hard for the last 2 weeks here since I've got it of like any like Android like users and what their say is on this. So hopefully I can kind of answer some questions if you have like an old Android tablet or you don't have the money for like a fancy tablet. I said that funny. Fancy. That's what I think my grandma was saying. Old fancy tablets. If you don't have like the money for like a newer tablet, like don't stress about it. If you can afford like a tablet, this will work on it. Unless it's like one of those like Amazon children's ones, or like I don't even know. I think again, like I'm saying though, this was a 4 gigabytes of RAM. So, you know, maybe if it's less, then maybe it's going to be a harder time. But from my experience on this, that's not a very good tablet at all. It's just kind of a very plain tablet. It's fine. It does a fine job. So that is my Nomad rant. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep kind of uploading some videos of work I've been doing on this, just to let you know that like, you definitely can still do projects on here. So don't get too overstimulated with it, and just be patient with it, and it will come out. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.